Good morning, everyone. Warm welcome to all of you to the 10th session in the webinar series on the theme Technology Communication for the Socio-Economic Development of Grassroots Level Women, which is being organized by Vigyan Prasar. But before I invite Dr. Kinkini Dasgupta Mishra for the welcome address, I would like to remind the audience to mute their microphone for avoiding any disturbances during the session. Also, I would like to encourage the audience to avail this golden opportunity to interact directly with the speakers and the panelists after the talk, or they can pose their questions and queries related to the talk in the comment section. As we all know that today India celebrates the National Technology Day on 11th of May to mark India's technological advancement and to promote the development of technology in various fields. This day also reminds us of the anniversary of Mission Shakti. Shakti was a Pokhran nuclear test which was carried out on this day in 1998. On this occasion, we salute the efforts and selfless services of our scientists, engineers, planners, and others who are engaged in national building and governance. This day is a symbol of pursuit for technological creativity, scientific inquiry, and the conversion of that pursuit into the integration of science, industry, and society. We would also like to take this privilege of the appropriate Office Day to remember a very dedicated and engaged scientist of Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Sunil Agarwal. His works and contributions are an epitome and inspiration for the objectives of this webinar series. We pay our deep condolences to his near and dear ones, the one whom he has left behind. May God provide the family with the strength and his blessings to the departed soul. We may observe a 2-minute silence. Ma'am, you can take up now.
Thank you, Tusha. Today, I feel very sad to organize this webinar because when we started this webinar series at Vigyan Prasar as part of the gender communication program, after a couple of series, one day Dr. Sunil Agarwal came to my office and discussed, and he suggested many ways of utilizing this platform to reach out to the rural women through science and technology intervention. And he suggested how VP can establish a channel of communication between the NGOs and other grassroots level organizations and enabling the rural women. And this is how he introduced us to DST Tara Group as one of the experts group for introducing their work and technologies. In the beginning of April 2021, I invited him to be the keynote speakers for one of our sessions, and he agreed immediately, and he told me, let's have it towards the end of the month. And that day didn't come, and he bid adieu to us. So today on the National Technology Day, I think it is apt to pay homage to him through this webinar. And Dr. Sunil Agarwal was a straight shooter in his thoughts and actions, and working with him has been an enriching experience in all ways. He was a friend, collaborator, gentle mentor, all rolled into one for many of us. And we miss him sorely. Sir, rest in peace. And your legacy, your contribution, taking science through technology-led intervention, we will always remain and will always try to take it forward. Take rest, sir. Coming back to the program, technology communication for socioeconomic development for rural women, Vigyan Prasar has been organizing this past, like this is the 10th program which we are organizing, and we initiated this program because we have been started this one concept, one program a couple of years back, where we tried to communicate and we tried to create awareness and sensitize the rural women through towards their drudgery reduction, mainly give them skills, give them awareness, sensitize, provide them training. So due to COVID, what happened is that our face-to-face interaction got disrupted. And so we have gone now in the digital mode. And we have found that technology change is an important instrument in the continuous process of socioeconomic development. And of late, development planners have realized the importance of suitable or appropriate technologies and practices, and therefore have stressed upon the need for a large-scale demonstration, on-site training, capacity building, and skill development of the users in rural and marginal areas. So the rural technology is widely recognized as one of the major determinants of socioeconomic development, an idea that a simple transfer of technology from lab to land, uh, uh, even from some of the content or some of the knowledge which can be transferred in the reverse process from land to land, will result in growth and thereby removing alleviating the poverty. And as a result of these efforts, a number of women farmers and other stakeholders, including NGOs, have adopted some of the potential rural technologies at various levels. However, it has been observed while organizing a couple of interactions with the rural community, we have observed that the rural technologies are not reaching to the people to the extent that they should have reached. And there are various reasons to it, like lack of awareness, which I've mentioned about the rural technologies. There is the lack of knowledge about the availability of the technologies, where they are, who are the groups from where there is a lack of affordability, accessibility, availability, and the lack of resources to access these technologies. And some of them do find these technologies are not cost effective. They're not according to the needs of the users, not according to the culture of the people, and not skillfully demonstrated. So with this backdrop, Vigyan Prasar has been conducting this webinar series since the pandemic struck our country last year. And we need to communicate to strengthen the back of the rural development. We are trying to now conduct these programs in Indian languages, other Indian languages, and soon we'll be launching this program apart from Hindi and English, maybe in Bengali, Assamese, Gujarati. And through this series, we aim to communicate the technologies which are appropriate, can prove to be valuable sources for socioeconomic development for grassroots women. And it can be particularly useful for potential entrepreneurs, consultants, promotional and financial agencies, field functionaries in rural areas, and would help in communicating them better to target audience. And as I said, we would try to reach out in primary in their languages in the respective areas. For today's session, we have brought on board for 4 such technologies which are women-friendly and easily adaptable. These technologies are domestic poultry egg incubator, rice dehusking machine for brown rice production, grain disinfection for food grains, agricultural residue composting. And these technologies will be presented by 4 experts from Vigyan Ashram. Vigyan Ashram is a center of Indian Institute of Education, IIE Pune, and Vigyan Ashram has developed several technologies under core support program of SEED, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and the panelists will be demonstrating the respective technologies which they are directing at the center. The experts today are Ms. Sonal Shinde, Mr. Ranajit Shaunbag, Ms. Ujjwala Goswami, and Mr. Sanket Valse. A warm welcome to you all to our program. We're immensely honored to have with us our keynote speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Shashi Bala Singh, a distinguished scientist and presently director of NIPER Hyderabad. A warm welcome to you, ma'am, and we're very delighted to have you amidst us. Brief introduction about Dr. Shashi Bala Singh. She was Director General Life Sciences in Defense Research and Development Organization till 31st May 2018. Prior to this, she was Senior Scientist H, Outstanding Scientist and Director of Defense Institute of Physiology and Allied Sciences, Delhi. That was since 2010. A person with strong will, she has the distinction of serving as the Director of Defense Institute of High Altitude Research, Leh. This was the period from 2007 to 2010. She's also notable alumni of All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Dr. Shashi Bala Singh has worked extensively in the area of high altitude physiology and has made remarkable contributions in improving the quality of life of the soldiers deployed at high altitudes. Using translational research for improving life of troops at high altitude, her endeavors have made the life of troops comfortable in the most difficult to inhabited terrains. Through this, Dr. Singh has been successful in commercialization and transfer of several of her technologies to the industries, and technology transfer of 10 products is under commercial production. In a career spanning more than 30 years, her contribution have been recognized through many awards and honors, some of which include the prestigious Professor U.S. Srivastava Memorial Lecture Award of National Academy of Sciences, India in the year 2015, Titanium Trophy Diapers by Honorable Prime Minister for Best R&D Lab in 2013, Scientist of the Year Award by Honorable Prime Minister in 2010, Technology Spin-off Award by Honorable Prime Minister of India 2008. A warm welcome to you, ma'am, to our program, and I invite you for your keynote address. Thank you so much. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Kinkini, for a very nice introduction. I hope I'm able to live up to the expectations. And at the outset, I want to wish everyone National Technology Day. Very happy National Technology Day. And it was on this day, Pokhran nuclear test was performed, and that brought India on the international map and gave a lot of strength and presence across globe. At the same time, I want to pay my heartfelt condolences to Dr. Agarwal. I have heard a lot about him, though I was not able to meet him personally, but may his family get the strength to bear this loss. And I'm sure through all these webinars, we will be sort of doing the duty which he aspires to be. And then this is a very good step Dr. Kinkini has taken. And I hope we continue to live up to his dream, what he wanted that we should be doing in DST. This is a very good step. And I'm happy that after my talk, there will be 4 people who will be doing a demonstration technology, because, you know, if you look at the world, what drives any country in the world is the technology, science and technology, and now, of course, innovation. So any country which is prosperous, the technology is the foremost. And this is how we also need to do it. And I think a lot of things after almost in last 4 or 5 years, the way technologies are progressing. One is the development of technology, other is the dissemination of technology, which is much more important and more difficult than development of technology. And where, you know, DST through Vigyan Prasar is playing a very important role. There are other schemes also of DST which are there to disseminate these technologies to the people who needs it and to the people who can use it. Now I'm going to share my presentation. It's a brief presentation. I just allow me to share this presentation. You have to, remove this disable. Please allow me, Dr. Kinkini, you have to.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
we have made it.
But it is post disabled participant.
Okay. Acha, we'll just check. One.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you are the host now.
Okay. Can you see my presentation? Is it visible?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. We can.
Okay, great. So, namaskar. I feel fortunate to be part of this webinar, and that too on a National Technology Day. I want to thank Vigyan Prasar, especially Dr. Kinkini Das Gupta, for including me in this presentation. as has been said by her and others, that how do we empower women through technology? So I'm going to talk of technological empowerment of socioeconomic development of rural women. Now, what is empowerment? Empowerment in Hindi, it is called Sashakti-karan. How do we empower? How do we make our women powerful? And this is, if we can make them powerful, that will lead to Atmanirbhar also. So empowerment is a term which is making women powerful or making women able so that they can exercise their mental functions, their physical things, so that this gives them an edge, and then all these whatever they do in terms of technology, in terms of anything, that goes across to everyone. So empowerment, सशक्तिकरण जो है वो कई चीजों पे निर्भर करता है. मैं हिंदी में भी बोलूंगी क्योंकि मैं चाहूंगी कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग मेरी बात को समझ सकें. Is that fine, Dr. Kinkini?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you can use both language. Yes.
Yeah. तो ये जो empowerment है, सशक्तिकरण है, ये कई चीजों पे निर्भर करता है. Geographical location, whether the women is in town or is in village, उनका पढ़ाई का स्तर क्या है, कॉलेज में है, स्कूल क्या है, सोशल स्टेटस, कास्ट, क्रीड, एज, ये सब पे निर्भर करता है किसी विमेन को शक्तिशाली बनाने के लिए. जो हम आज रूरल के लैंडस्केप की बात करेंगे उसमें कई फैक्टर हैं जिसके ऊपर ये निर्भर करता है. मेनली विमेन जो हमारे विलेजेस में, वो कई चीजें, एक तो बहुत सारे लेबर फोर्स हैं. हाउ डू वी एम्पावर दिस लेबर फोर्स, एम्पावर्ड लेबर फोर्स. दूसरा, उनका मोबिलिटी, उनका आना जाना एक जगह से दूसरी जगह, कैसे हम उसको एम्पावर करें. तीसरा जो है, जो बहुत जरूरी है, एज ए विमेन उनको हम इतना एम्पावर कर दें, उनको इतना समझा दें क्या है कि वो एक अपना डिसीजन, अपना निर्णय खुद ले सकें अपने घर के लिए और सोसाइटी एट लार्ज के लिए. और इन सब के लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि उनको लिटरेट बनाया जाए, उनको उनकी पढ़ाई उनको ठीक से कराई जाए. दो चीजें बहुत जरूरी है, एक पढ़ाई और एक स्वास्थ्य. दूसरा, बेटर हेल्थ केयर. हाउ डू वी प्रोवाइड बेटर हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम टू दिस people, to these women, so that they become empowered. तो ये सब जो, if we want to empower women, अगर हम women को powerful बनाना चाहते हैं, तो आज की तारीख में बस एक ही चीज जो कर सकती है वो टेक्नोलॉजी. और टेक्नोलॉजी कैन बी ए गेम चेंजर फॉर एम्पावरिंग women and girls. तो मैं आज आपको अपने इस टॉक के माध्यम से कुछ टेक्नोलॉजीज बताऊंगी जो ऑलरेडी विकसित है, जो लोग यूज कर रहे हैं, और बहुत सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज जो अभी और आ रही हैं जिससे कि women are getting empowered, and there is a lot of changes which are happening not only for the women who are in the town but also for the women who are in the village. तो ये टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं जो प्रौद्योगिकीकरण है. ये इससे क्या होता है, जब टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड सॉल्यूशंस होते हैं कई चीजों के लिए. हाउ डू वी ब्रिंग जेंडर इक्वलिटी, मतलब मेन एंड वीमेन कैसे हम इक्वल बनाएं, क्योंकि देखा है जैसे वायलेंस है, हेल्थ इश्यूज हैं, इकोनॉमिक है, पॉलिटिकल एम्पावरमेंट है. पॉलिटिकल एम्पावरमेंट के लिए भी हमें, अगर हमको विमेन को भी पॉलिटिकली एम्पावर करना, उनको भी टेक्नोलॉजी के जरिए हम करेंगे तो और अच्छा होगा और जल्दी होगा. और how do we provide safe online spaces of women and girls? It is all because it can all be done through technology. And how do we make women and girls lead in a leadership role? Leadership role में भी women तभी आएंगी जब वो टेक्नोलॉजी को इस्तेमाल करेंगी, उसको इस्तेमाल करके आगे बढ़ेंगी, सीखेंगी, तभी वो they can be in the leadership role. तो जो ये टेक्नोलॉजी जो है ना, मेन चीज है, टेक्नोलॉजीज आर अवेलेबल. हमारे पास बहुत सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं जो कई लोग इस्तेमाल करते हैं, लेकिन इन सब का गाइडिंग फिलॉसफी है. जब एज ए विमेन, स्पेशली विमेन ह्यूज फ्रॉम ए विलेज, पहली बात है कि हम लोगों को टेक्नोलॉजी को ग्रहण करना चाहिए, उसको अपनाना चाहिए, उसको सीखना चाहिए. बिकॉज टेक्नोलॉजी ही एक ऐसा जरिया है, एक ऐसा औजार है जिससे कि हम विमेन, औरतों का सशक्तिकरण कर सकते हैं. कई बार क्या होता है, हम लोग, मैंने देखा है गांव में जो और महिलाएं होती हैं वो सोचती हैं अरे ये इसको सीख के क्या करेंगे. लोग भी कहते हैं अरे इसको कंप्यूटर सिखा दोगे तो ये तो फिर बात ही नहीं करेगी, ये तो पता नहीं क्या करेगी. इसीलिए टेक्नोलॉजी जो है इनको हमको इम्बाइब करना चाहिए, इनको करना चाहिए, बजाय कि इनको एज ए अपॉर्चुनिटी हमको लेना चाहिए। ये अवसर है हमको टेक्नोलॉजी इस्तेमाल करने का, ना कि उसको एक थ्रेट की तरह इस्तेमाल सोचना चाहिए कि अरे ये हम सीख जाएंगे तो लोग ये करेंगे, और जो लोग घर के लोग वो भी करेंगे, ये सीख जाएगी तो ये और उल्टा करेगी। ऐसा नहीं है, टेक्नोलॉजी को आप अपनाएं, इससे ही आपका एम्पावरमेंट होगा, इसी से आप मजबूत बनेंगी और शक्तिशाली बनेगी। जब टेक्नोलॉजी जो है, मैं 4 चीजें जो हमें ध्यान देना चाहिए, मैं उन महिलाओं की बात कर रही हूँ जो ये टेक्नोलॉजी अपनाना चाहती है। पहला बात है, जो टेक्नोलॉजी हमें है उसको अपडेट करना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो टेक्नोलॉजी ना बहुत जल्दी मूव कर रही है। जो आज की टेक्नोलॉजी है, जो आज हम काम टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करते हैं, वो 2 दिन बाद ऑब्सोलीट हो जाती है, मतलब चली जाती है, उसके ऊपर एक और नई टेक्नोलॉजी आती है। तो हमें जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी चलती जा रही है, आगे और आगे बढ़ती जा रही है, हमको भी उन टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में सोचना चाहिए, सीखना चाहिए और उनको इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए। दूसरा, हम जो महिलाएं ना, हमको एक इकोसिस्टम बनाना चाहिए। एक नेटवर्किंग बहुत जरूरी है हम सबके लिए। स्पेशली मैंने देखा है जब तक हम नेटवर्किंग हम अपने आप में नहीं करेंगे, हमको बाहर से कोई आके हमको मदद नहीं करेगा। तो एक नेटवर्किंग करो जिससे एक इकोसिस्टम बने, जिसमें हम सब लोग एक दूसरे की मदद करें, एक दूसरे का प्रॉब्लम समझें और एक दूसरे के टेक्नोलॉजीज को इम्बाइब करने के लिए क्या क्या निर्देश है, क्या क्या करना चाहिए वो करें। दूसरा ये कि अपने जो कोलीग्स हैं ना, उन सबको अपने साथ बात करो, उनको एंगेज करो, क्योंकि सबके पास कुछ ना कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन है। अगर आप एक दूसरे से इन्फॉर्मेशन लेंगे, बात करेंगे, तो उससे ही जो टेक्नोलॉजी है सॉरी उसका डिसेमिनेशन होगा, वो टेक्नोलॉजी फिर लोग इस्तेमाल करेंगे। और ये भी है कि विमेन कैन ह्यूमनाइज टेक्नोलॉजी, ये बहुत सही बात है। इसीलिए मैं चाहती हूँ कि जो भी टेक्नोलॉजी हम डेवलप करें, वो हमारी महिलाओं जिनको उनकी जरूरत है उन तक जरूर पहुंचे। तो सॉरी, सो टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत सारी है। एक तो इंफॉर्मेशन कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, जिसने पूरा बदल दिया है, सारा इकोसिस्टम बदल दिया है, सारा जो है रेवोल्यूशन कर दिया है। कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी है जो सस्टेनेबल एनर्जी के लिए है, कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी जो हेल्थ केयर के लिए है। हेल्थ केयर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम आजकल आप देख रहे हो, जो पेंडेमिक कोविड है उसकी वजह से कितना गियर अप हो गया है, और हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम हैज बिकम द वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट सिस्टम ऑफ आवर कंट्री। अगर हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम अच्छा है तो और सब चीजें ठीक रहेंगे। अगर स्वास्थ्य ठीक है तो महिला पढ़ भी लेगी, पढ़ के और टेक्नोलॉजी को अपना भी लेगी और अपने आप को शक्तिशाली भी बना लेगी। और इसके साथ साथ पॉलिटिकल इक्वलिटी भी बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि इन सब से नहीं, अगर आपको बिल्कुल इक्विटी चाहिए, इक्वल चाहिए, तो आपको पॉलिटिकली ऑल्सो भी यू कैन यूज टेक्नोलॉजी वे थ्रू विच यू कैन बी पॉलिटिकली ऑल्सो एम्पावर्ड। तो इंफॉर्मेशन कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजीज बहुत पुरानी हैं और बहुत इस पे काम हो रहा है। आपको पता, रेडियो 30 साल पहले या 40 साल पहले बस रेडियो ही होता था माध्यम गांव में। उसको लोग एक रेडियो के आगे बहुत सारे लोग बैठ जाते थे और सुनते थे खबर, हिंदी में खबर सुनते थे। क्या है, धीरे धीरे टेलीविजन आया, फिर अब सेल फोन है, फिर कंप्यूटर है। ये धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी आगे आगे आती जा रही है, इन सब टेक्नोलॉजी का महत्व बदलता जा रहा है। और सब टेक्नोलॉजी, जैसे रेडियो को, अब टेलीविजन को, अब फोन में ही सब कुछ है। फोन एक ऐसी चीज है जिसमें सब कुछ है। आपका हेल्थ सिस्टम उसमें है, आप किसी से बात कर सकते हो, आप किसी के बारे में क्लाइमेट वेदर कंडीशन देख सकते हो, कहाँ क्या है, किस जो ई मार्केट है उसके बारे में जानकारी उसमें ऐप से ले सकते हो। तो ऐसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी बदलती जा रही है, उनका
वॉल्यूम इज वेरी पुअर।
अब आ रहा है आवाज? मैं तो बहुत तेज बोल रही हूँ। अब ठीक है? हेलो, कैन यू हियर मी?
It is okay with us. We can hear you.
We can hear very
जी
proper.
मैडम, बेटर है, अब बेटर है।
हाँ, ठीक है मैम, कंटिन्यू मैम।
सो इंफॉर्मेशन कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी जो है, ये ग्रास रूट लेवल पे वुमेन को एम्पावर करती है, स्पेशली गर्ल चाइल्ड को। और इसमें बहुत सारे लोगों ने, एनजीओ है, गवर्नमेंट है, जो लोग आगे आके गांव में जाके इस टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज करके बच्चों को इकट्ठा बैठा के पढ़ाते हैं थ्रू दिस टेक्नोलॉजी, टीवी से, रेडियो से। और इससे डिस्टेंस लर्निंग होती है, ई लर्निंग टेक्नोलॉजीज है। इसका ये क्या है, जो गर्ल चाइल्ड है that get empowered, and both girl and women both get economically and socially well aware. और इससे क्या होता है कि ये बच्चे जो स्कूल में गर्ल चाइल्ड का ड्रॉप आउट रेट बहुत ज्यादा होता है, लेकिन इस टेक्नोलॉजी से गर्ल का ड्रॉप आउट रेट भी कम रहता है। और इससे जो है इंटरेस्ट बच्चों में जागरूक होता है पढ़ने के लिए, समझने के लिए और कुछ सीखने के लिए। तो ये बहुत कई जगह, कई मैंने देखा स्टेट्स में, मध्य प्रदेश में, छत्तीसगढ़ में ये टेक्नोलॉजी अभी भी बहुत यूज करते हैं और लोग जाके इस टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं। गर्ल चाइल्ड को और आ जाते हैं और पढ़ते हैं, नहीं तो गर्ल चाइल्ड का ड्रॉप आउट रेट भी इससे काफी कम हो गया है। इसमें इंफॉर्मेशन कम्युनिकेशन इसरो का भी बहुत बड़ा योगदान है। इसरो ने जो ये लॉन्च किए हैं सैटेलाइट, इसके थ्रू जो है कनेक्टिविटी बहुत बढ़ गई है। और इससे भी देयर बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम है, समुद्र प्रोग्राम है जो कई स्कूलों में चल रहा है, कई स्टेट में, आंध्र प्रदेश में, आसाम में, छत्तीसगढ़ में, हिमाचल प्रदेश में। और बहुत सारे बच्चे जो है वो हिंदी और इंग्लिश में माध्यम से इंग्लिश सीखते हैं, सोशल साइंस सीखते हैं, और टीचर्स को भी इससे ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है। इसका एडवांटेज क्या होता है कि इसके एक तो लड़कियों का पार्टिसिपेशन बच्चों का बहुत ज्यादा हो जाता है, ड्रॉप आउट रेट कम हो जाता है, और इट इम्प्रूव इंटरेस्ट लेवल, और इससे बच्चों में जागरूकता और उनको अच्छा लगता है इन चीजों को सीखना और इनके थ्रू अपना एजुकेशन प्राप्त करना। आईसीटी का जैसे मैंने बोला, गवर्नमेंट, पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनर, एनजीओ इसको बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में इसको आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। और इसके थ्रू क्या करते हैं, जो गांव में भी जो कंप्यूटर से जो इंफॉर्मेशन है वो इंफॉर्मेशन लेके और सारे विलेजेस में बता सकते हैं। आज वेदर कंडीशंस क्या होंगी नेक्स्ट 7 डेज में, उसके हिसाब से जो फार्मर है अपना तैयारी कर सकता है कि किस दिन बीज उगाएगा, किस दिन हार्वेस्ट करेगा, पानी आगे उसको ट्यूबवेल से देना है कि नहीं, क्योंकि नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज ही, अगर बरसात होगी तो ट्यूबवेल से पानी देने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। तो ये सब ग्रास रूट वर्कर पे, स्पेशली विमेन को, और का ई मार्केटिंग की उपलब्धता, ई मार्केटिंग का भी पता चल जाता है, कौन सी कमोडिटी का क्या रेट है और कहाँ किसकी जरूरत है। ये सब आईसीटी से ही इसका बहुत इसका प्रचलन है, और इससे एम्पावरमेंट एट द ग्रास रूट लेवल बहुत ज्यादा है। इसके कई बहुत एग्जाम्पल है, एक दो मैं आपको बताऊंगी अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन में। ऐसे ही एक और, यूनेस्को ने भी एक नेटवर्किंग रूरल विमेन नॉलेज का एक प्रोग्राम डाला हुआ है, इसको बोलते हैं नबाना। इसमें भी वो कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग करते हैं यूजिंग आईसीटी टूल। इसमें वो स्किल डेवलपमेंट, लाइफ स्किल मैनेजमेंट, माइक्रो एंटरप्राइज, माइक्रो फाइनेंस, साइंस एजुकेशन, ये सब करते हैं। गुजरात में एक बहुत अच्छा सिस्टम डेवलप है, डेयरी इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम कियोस्क। इससे क्या होता है, इससे ये पता चल जाता है किस गांव में कितने मिल्क का कैटल है, कितना मिल्क प्रोडक्शन है, और क्या क्या वहाँ और जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है अबाउट वेटरनरी सर्विसेज भी पता चल जाती है। और जो महिलाएं हैं वो डायरेक्टली ट्रेडर के साथ या मार्केट में कनेक्ट हो जाती हैं एट नेशनल लेवल, और उनको पता चल जाता है आज का मिल्क का रेट क्या है और कितनी कहाँ जरूरत है। और इससे क्या होता है, डायरेक्ट यू आर कनेक्टेड विद द मार्केट, दिस रियली गिव्स देम गुड प्राइस ऑफ द commodity, and then also make them self reliant, इनका सशक्तिकरण हो जाता है। और इससे ये भी एक बहुत अच्छा इम्पोर्टेंट मीडियम है, जिससे कि लैब टू लैंड जो है अपना जो कमोडिटीज है वो सीधा वो यूजर को दे सकती हैं। फिर और भी कई प्रोजेक्ट हैं जो इसके बिसाइड्स जो लैब टू लैंड या जो एग्रीकल्चर है, इसमें और भी आईसीटी को, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज करके इन्होंने और भी कई ऐप बनाए। बहुत सारे ऐप है, आप पढ़ते भी होंगे, अखबार में भी आजकल आता है। एक ज्ञान दूत ऐप बनाया था धर डिस्ट्रिक्ट है मध्य प्रदेश में। इन्होंने क्या किया, इन्होंने पूरा जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जितने भी विलेज है सबको इकट्ठा, हेलो, सारे विलेजेस को 21 साइबर कैफे से जोड़ा। और ये क्या था, कोई भी महिला इन साइबर कैफे में जा सकती थी, वो अपने फार्म जो उसके प्रोड्यूसर्स का एग्रीकल्चर प्राइस पता कर सकती है, कॉपीज ऑफ लैंड रिकॉर्ड ले सकती है, कंप्लेन भी फाइल कर सकती है, और इसके थ्रू वो ये लोन भी के लिए भी अर्जी डाल सकती थी। तो इस तरह से ये सब एम्पावरमेंट हो रहा है। एक और है फॉर यू कैन से फॉर सेफ्टी। त्रिची में, ये बहुत अभी नहीं, कोई 5-6 साल पुरानी बात है, एक एनजीओ ने हेल्पलाइन फॉर विमेन इन डिस्ट्रेस क्रिएट करी है, स्पेशली फॉर रेप केसेस, सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट और डोरी हैरेसमेंट, ईव टीजिंग। सो ये सब जो है सशक्तिकरण जो है ये इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू माध्यम से हो रहा है। आप सबको ये भी पता है कि हमारा जो डीएसटी विभाग है, डिपार्टमेंट साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, ये लोग, इनके भी विमेन टेक्नोलॉजी पार्क है। ये भी एक बहुत अच्छा स्कीम है जो डीएसटी ने इम्प्लीमेंट कर रखा है। इसमें भी विमेन एम्पावरमेंट है फॉर देयर लाइवलीहुड एंड लाइफ्स। ये अगेन वुमेन को एम्पावरमेंट करने के लिए, उसको आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए एक प्रयास है, जिसमें डीएसटी ने बहुत सारा इसमें पैसा इन्वेस्ट किया। बहुत सारे विमेन टेक्नोलॉजी पार्क सारे देश में खोले हैं, अलग अलग स्टेट्स में। और इससे क्या है, इससे विमेन आर बीइंग एम्पावर्ड थ्रू साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी। विमेन जो टेक्नोलॉजी पार्क में यहाँ जो टेक्नोलॉजी वो डेवलप करती हैं, और ये टेक्नोलॉजी फिर आसपास के गांव की जो लेडीज हैं, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप के थ्रू या और ग्रुप्स के थ्रू आती हैं, इसको सीखती हैं, इसको इम्बाइब करती हैं, फिर ये उसको यूज करके they are able to make their livelihood better, and they are also they are able to make better socio-economic go into better socio-economic strata. तो ये जो it is to improve the opportunity skill on large scale, या आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए है, at a speed with high demands, high standard, promote a culture of innovation based on entrepreneurship to ensure sustainable livelihood. ये स्कीम बहुत अच्छी चल रही है, बहुत सारे विमेन टेक्नोलॉजी पार्क डीएसटी ने स्पॉन्सर किए हैं, और इससे बहुत सारी महिलाओं का एम्पावरमेंट हुआ है, सशक्तिकरण हुआ है, और वो समृद्ध हैं, सुरक्षित है और स्वाभिमानी भी बन रही हैं। ऐसे ही एक एमएस स्वामीनाथन फाउंडेशन ने भी एक ऐसा एक कार्यक्रम चला रखा है, इनोवेशन और विलेज नॉलेज सेंटर, जो फुली इंटीग्रेटेड है, और जहाँ थ्रू द मैनेजर एंड यूजर वन कैन टेक ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन लाइक द वेदर कंडीशन, the kind of seeds which are required, when do they sow it, what kind of fertilizers, pesticides, everything. तो वो सारी नॉलेज मिल जाती है, और उसको गांव वाली जो महिलाएं उसको अपनाती हैं, और अपना जो प्रोडक्टिविटी जो है खेतों की उसको बढ़ाती हैं। ऐसे ही दूसरा एक है था एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ क्लीन एंड अफोर्डेबल सस्टेनेबल एनर्जी। इसमें भी बहुत सारे एनजीओज, गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस काम कर रहे हैं। एक सेवा नाम की ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो आपने भी बहुत सुना होगा, ये क्या करती है, जो विमेन होती हैं गांव में, वो उनके पास एकदम इतना पैसा नहीं होता, तो ये उनको क्या करती हैं, ये दे बाय द स्टोव्स इन बल्क, और उनको लोन पे धीरे धीरे वो पैसा देती है, और उनको स्टोव शुरू में दे देती है, और वो मंथली स्मॉल इंस्टॉलमेंट्स में वो पैसा वापस करती रहती है स्टोव का। तो ये बड़ा छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, लेकिन दे रियली इम्पैक्ट द सोशल स्टेटस, इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस ऑफ द विमेन। एक और बड़ा एक बेयरफुट कॉलेज है, ये बड़ी एक एनजीओ है जो क्या करती है, 6 महीने की एक ट्रेनिंग देती है गांव की महिलाओं को, और वो उससे ये बनाना सीख जाती है, सोलर लाइटिंग सिस्टम बनाती हैं। और ये संस्था 1986 से चल रही है, और ये सोलर लाइटिंग सिस्टम ये अपने घर में इस्तेमाल करती है, और इसको घर के सिवाय जिनको चाहिए होता उनको किसी उचित दाम पर इसको औरों को भी देती हैं। सिमिलरली हेल्थ केयर, मैंने बोला हेल्थ इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। if one is healthy, I think health is wealth, and when one is healthy, one can read, one can write, one can be educated, and one can become empowered. So health के लिए भी बहुत सारी technologies हैं जो which are being there used by the villages through NGOs and also self-help group. इसमें क्या एक है सखी में क्या है, they are trained midwife or nurses who can measure blood pressure, who can measure blood glucose, who can also take the history of the women, और वो सारा measure करके उसको क्या करती हैं, उस data को feed कर देती हैं for the secondary or tertiary hospital which is far away from the village. और फिर then through telemedicine or through mobile the doctor can supervise them, doctor can counsel them, doctor can treat them. ये भी एक बहुत अच्छी वो है सखी जो चल रही है, जिससे कि विमेन का फॉर हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम। तो मैं बस बाद में यही कहूंगी कि हम लोग को ना, महिलाएं जो हम 60 साल 70 साल पहले हम सोचते थे विमेन लाइक ए सिंड्रेलास, we used to, oh, we are in a dreamy world, one day someone will, like, we have a magic band, we can do everything, one day someone will come and we will be in a dreamy world doing all things. So we don't need Cinderellas anymore now. For the Cinderella there is not much future. We need Cyberellas, women who can use science and technology, engineering and technologies to empower them. अपने आप को सक्षम बना सकती हैं इन टेक्नोलॉजीज को यूज करके, इन टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज करके वो अपने आप को समृद्ध बना सकती हैं, अपने आप को स्वस्थ बना सकती हैं, अपने आप को सुरक्षित महसूस कर सकती हैं। तो आज का जो युग है उसमें हमको टेक्नोलॉजी के को एम्बाइब करना है, टेक्नोलॉजी को इस्तेमाल करना है, और टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से ही हम लोग भारत को आगे ले जा सकते हैं, भारत को एक डेवलप नेशन बना सकते हैं। और जब तक हमारी महिलाएं इस डेवलपमेंट में हमारे साथ नहीं चलेंगी, जब तक हम भारत को आगे नहीं ले जा सकते। इसीलिए वी नीड मोर साइबरेलाज हु आर द women who can use science and technology for the benefit of themselves, for benefit of the society at large. इसके साथ मैं यहीं खत्म करना चाहती हूँ, और फिर मेरे को ये अवसर देने के लिए आप सबका धन्यवाद, स्पेशली डॉक्टर किनकिनी Rajput.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your excellent presentation and informative. It was very informative. You talked about role of ICT in women empowerment besides other rural technologies, and ICT opens up a direct window for women to the outside world, and information now flows to them without distortion or any form of or any form of barrier, and they have access to same information as their male counterpart. And ICT, ma'am, are closely linked to power and the ability to affect the change. As you have rightly said, create new opportunities by expanding information flows and by making communication more accessible, especially for rural women. And they can make better choices, voice their opinions, demand their rights, and have more power over their own lives. And we have also done a study on this, a small study, and we have found that women in India are in the deepest part of the divide, and they're further removed from the information age. The gap in the digital divide is of increasing concern, and if access to and use of these technologies is directly linked to social and economic development, then it is imperative to ensure that women in India and also developing countries understand the significance of these technologies and use. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and for your wonderful presentation. And now we will go for our technology presentation and demonstration from the Vigyan Ashram. I request Tusha to take it from here. Kindly, is there any order? Are we following any order, Tusha, or we'll have?
I'll introduce the
Ranajit Shoinbag.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Before everything, I'll request Shashi ma'am to kindly make us the host. It would be easy for us to conduct the session. And in the meanwhile, I would like to introduce our audience to our next panelist. We have 4 panelists from Vigyan Ashram, and they are respectively, they will be presenting 4 technologies. So the first technology is the egg incubator. This incubator is useful for the SHGs to raise the native birds, and so that they can be raised in their native courtyards. And this technology is being presented by Mr. Ranjit Shanbag. He's working with Vigyan Ashram from the past 10 years under the DST core support program. And by identifying gaps in rural areas and providing possible technology solution to the specified gap, which is a major part of his work. He has experience in technologies development and dissemination, mainly in the field of agriculture and post-harvest value addition, domestic poultry egg incubator, aquaponics, hydroponic farming, agro waste composting, value-added products like Mahua and Ragi, etc. Some of the technologies of his research work. He has also trained 1,500 and plus rural youth in the past 10 years and incubated 120 plus rural enterprises. Recently, he has also started a venture, Nigarsan Kheti Solutions Private Limited, with the aim of helping marginal farmers through appropriate technology solutions. The next technology is agro-waste composting. Vigyan Ashram has developed a microbial culture for composting of agriculture waste. It has been tried with 100 plus farmers in the Pune district under Women's Scientist Scheme of DST. Its PI is also the next another presenter, that is Miss Sonal Shende. She has keen interest in agriculture, tissue culture, and improving soil health. She is working on azolla cultivation and composting of biomass from last 4 years. The third technologist is Dr. Ujjwala Goswami. He's the director of the Climber System. Climber System is an enterprise supported by Vigyan Ashram, and they are manufacturing rice husking D machine for producing brown rice. This technology is initially developed by Vigyan Ashram only, and he's in engineering. He's in the engineering industry from the last 20 plus years, and she has also sold more than 100 plus rice dehusking machines. Recently, she also got an award for women entrepreneur by Maratha Chamber of Commerce and Industries. And the last technologist is Dhanya Sangvarshak. This unit, she will be basically focusing on the grain disinfection, and this unit is to disinfection of grains for storage. This helps in preserving grains for the longer duration. This unit was developed in the last 2 years and is under pilot testing, but they are looking for the farmers for joining the field trials. He has successfully developed solar-based technologies, namely the solar bubbling system for grey water recycling and solar polyhouse fan pad system. Grain disinfection machine is his third innovation, and he has successfully tested it, and now the process of pilot testing is with farmers. So we'll start the presentation right now. I'll request the speakers to start the presentation, and we'll upload the presentation in a minute.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vigyan Prashad, for giving this opportunity. I'm just waiting for the screen to be shared, and we'll start our presentation.
Just a minute, we'll share it in just a second.
No issue, yeah. Yeah, it's visible now.
Okay.
Thanks. So, सभी को नमस्कार, और मैं वापस एक बार मैं आपको सभी को धन्यवाद कहता हूं कि हमें मौका देने के लिए. I'll be talking in English and Hindi to putting our points and explaining technology, particularly the business part of it, because we want to reach to more and more people to explain this technology and the enterprise behind it. So I am Ranjit. I'll be presenting egg incubator technology, and I'll have with me Ujjwala, Sonal, and Sanket to present other technologies. Can we have a next slide, please? Yeah, so if we look into a poultry business, we know that poultry farming is very age-old practice, mainly for it supports livelihood in rural and in the, of course, now the products have been transported to the cities for the masses. Interestingly, even after a large industrial application or large poultry farms, this poultry farming is supporting rural masses in small pockets also, like a backyard poultry. So we have women self-help group or farmers, villagers, youth who are having a backyard poultry with 10, 15, 20 poultries in a so-called indigenously or local poultry birds. And we also have large farms, women, rural youth are coming up with a large layer poultry farm or large boiler poultry farm. And one technology which is a center part of it is the healthy chick. So having a healthy chick or an incubator is a need of a society because it's supposed to be the first step in a value chain of poultry farming. So this is the technology need, or this is the technology gap we identified 5 to 6 years back. Next slide, please. And need was to have a domestic level application because for the larger farmers, the poultry farms, these incubators are either available as an independent enterprise for them or it goes into a contract farming. Say, for example, if IB Group is working in a poultry farm on a large scale application, right from feed to chicks to farming, then they have their system placed for farmers where the farmers will get chicks and all other support. But for the smaller farmers, say for a farmer wants to have a poultry farm below 1,000 poultry birds, or even a backyard poultry farmer with a 10 or 15 birds, the support is not available. So still the traditional kind of technology or crude technology was in a place. So we thought of having this machine or this technology, particularly for women self-help group. क्योंकि अगर we did back to the need identification stage of 2010-11 when we were working on this technology, हम हमारे यहाँ के पूना के महिला बचत गट के पास जाके कुछ बात कर रहे थे कुछ और इंटरवेंशन के लिए, तो हमें पता चला कि वो लाइवलीहुड बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजीज के ऊपर काम करना चाहते हैं, वो पैसा कमाना चाहते हैं, लेकिन उनके पास ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल नहीं है। और एक सबसे अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी जहाँ पे उनको एक इंडिपेंडेंट स्ट्रक्चर या फिर काइंड ऑफ पार्ट टाइम जॉब करके भी बाकी का काम देख के भी उनके पास समय रह के वो बैकयार्ड पोल्ट्री तो करती है, लेकिन चिक्स के लिए ये सारी महिला बचत गट या फिर इवन अ स्मॉल फार्मर रूरल यूथ इज डिपेंड ऑन ट्रेडिशनल सिस्टम जहाँ पे हम मुर्गी रख के मुर्गी के नीचे अंडे रख के वहां से बच्चे पैदा करते हैं फिर चिक्स पैदा करते हैं। So they were not getting a good chicks and the whole system was not working. So we started working on this system and we found that it's just the first step in building a complete package of practice. So if we have a good incubator in a village, just like a photocopy machine every village now we have, just like that or just like a flour mill, if we have one incubator in one village, then the whole ecosystem works. In a sense that somebody is incubating chicks and selling it. It's distributing among the villagers so they get a livelihood option. Somebody can pitch in and have a good poultry feed mill. Then somebody can pitch in and have a selling system of eggs and mature poultry. So the whole economics start moving. And interestingly, we also found after intervention and some initial field trials that this technology actually started helping up conservation of local breeds of poultry and promoting it. Say, for example, we have a Kadaknath in the border of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh or in nearby Nagpur. But again, there also the farmers were facing a problem that the eggs of Kadaknath breed was less in a quantity, so the bigger incubator business person or enterprise won't support them. So this technology is not only producing a livelihood or a new opportunity, but it's also started helping up conservation and promotion of the local breed with the livelihood. Next slide, please. So what is the innovation feature in this? When we started, as I said, the solution was not available in the market. Either curative farmers were importing this kind of machines from China, or they were not fully tested and the parts were not available. But now this technology is very well set. We have a domestic level egg incubator right from 500 to 5,000 and above egg capacity. This is completely atomized machine, so it can be handled by layman, a lady, semi-trained professional. So the technology is, it can control temperature, humidity, tray rotation kind of systems. Then as it's going to be placed in rural area where the power source is not very reliable. So initially we were working on a solar heat exchange based systems, kind of solar water heater based heating mechanism, but now we also have a solar inverter based systems, and it's completely indigenously built. So the spare and parts are available. It's easy to maintain. It's like any other home appliance machine, which can be very easily handled by a lady in a house, and it can be a good livelihood source. On the next slide, I'll put little more light on a business model of it, because हम चाहते हैं कि ये बिजनेस मॉडल लोगों तक पहुंचे, क्योंकि लोगों को पता ही नहीं होता है कि ऐसा भी कोई व्यवसाय होता है. So this is just one case study or one scenario where if we have 1000 to 1600 capacity egg incubator, the cost is almost same. So the slide is showing 1000 egg capacity. The cost of system is around 1.25 lakhs. So the cost of machine is around 70,000 rupees plus the solar inverter or the place to keep the machine and all other things are also included. So this machine, which doesn't have much of the other things required and then the plug and play kind of system. So that cost 1.25 lakhs. Then the recurring cost is the cost of eggs. If we have a mother stock, which we provide a part of training package to SHGs, how to keep the mother stock for eggs. But even if the eggs have been purchased from outside, it can cost up to 6 to 7 rupees. Then the electricity cost is very less, because this machine, this technology we have kind of simplified and given with a good heat insulation capacity. So the cost of electricity for 21 days, that is the hatching period, is just 1 rupees per egg. Then we have also considered a cost of labor. So the lady working there for the machine, it takes around 1 hour per day, but we take it 1/4 of the day. As per the minimum wage criteria, we can consider 125 to 130 rupees per day for the lady who is taking care of that machine. So in all, it comes around 40,000 rupees per batch. And if we get 85% of hatching rate, which is supposed to be good, then every batch a lady can get 9,000 or 10,000 rupees or per month, which is very good income when we consider it as a part-time business. And in a year, we can have around 13 to 14 batches. So the income will be around 1.3 lakhs. So the net return on investment comes less than 1 year. And it's again a part-time business within the community. So they don't need to market their product to the urban area. So they don't need to move a lot and do the advertisement. So it can give very good livelihood option to SHG network. On the next slide, I'll present a small case study where how the SHGs can work with this machine. So this is one of the case study of nearby us. ये गांव हमारे नजदीक ही है, पूना में ही. SHG group called Sanyog Egg Incubator Center is operating nearby. Mrs. Aruna is head of that, and they have SHG, a small SHG group. It's not a big. उनका छोटा सा SHG group है 30 से 40 महिलाओं का. तो उन्होंने डिसाइड किया कि हर महिला को 100 चिक्स मिलेंगे एज अ स्मॉल फार्म, और ऐसे 10 महिलाओं को मिलेंगे. तो पहले तो उनको जरूरत पड़ी कि एक छोटे से मशीन की अराउंड 1000 eggs पर बैच के मशीन की. So now they are supplying this and they are earning around 9,100 or 9,000 rupees per month. So they have this machine, then they got a small feed milling machine, and they got a selling mechanism also. And of course, they are keeping some of the eggs for their home consumption also. So they get a mother stock, egg laying, backyard poultry, egg incubator, and the feed mill. So now this technology is transferred to our commercial partner, Future Innovative Systems in Pune. They are listed on India Mart. So they are supplying throughout the India, their systems. The systems are available right from 150 eggs, so very small capacity, to 10,000 egg capacity. And they have sold more than 500 machines throughout India to SHGs, to farmers groups, to educational institutes. And this technology is readily available. So that's it from me for the egg incubator. We have a small video on the next slide. It's on a YouTube also, but if possible, we can play that video. Otherwise, I'll share the links to the audience.
I think
We
you
will
can play the video to show.
Yeah, we will play the video just a second.
Yes, yes, quickly.
Yeah, thanks. It's just a 2 minutes video. It doesn't have any voiceover. I'll explain what the farmer is showing. Yeah. So we don't require a voice. Everything is visible. So you can see it's a very small farmer on a backyard. He has kept this machine. The machine is very simple. It doesn't have any mystifying things. There are trays. It's like a freezer where you kept door closed and the machine operates itself. The eggs which we take down as shown in a video into a hatching tray, the chicks are coming out. The hatching rate is more than 80%. So every week also you can get chicks as per your market requirement. The above eggs are for the hatching. So the new eggs comes to above the machine. Down you can remove chicks every week. Then he has made small compartments for his customer. It's again very simple things. All the scrap material he has tried to use in his poultry farm. So 1 day old, 1 week old, 1 month old chicks he can keep as per the requirement, and the rates are also as per the customer requirement or as per the market rate. So a small group or an individual farmer can have all these systems at their place for the livelihood generation. And this machine is made for the rural area, so its power requirement and maintenance requirement are very less. Thanks. If there are any questions, we can have right now or maybe at the end.
We will have the questions at the end, sir. We'll collect the question and we have the open discussion round and the question answer round at the end.
Okay. So I think now we'll have Ms.
Yes.
Urmila, for the rice de-husking machine.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ranajit.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to all of you, and happy National Technology Day. I'm very happy to present my rice de-husking machine, which is a machine which from the technology to the commercialization journey of its, and it's a very good example of the entrepreneurs development, and mostly women entrepreneurs can do a small business for themselves, and the upliftment of them, leadership of them can be improved by this technology. Next slide. This technology is developed in the Vignan Ashram with the help of DST Seed group. Before going to the technology, we will see that what is the brown rice and white rice. In the you will see the figure. In that figure, you will see the endosperm. Endosperm is nothing but the white rice, and on the endosperm there are 4 layers, and that 4 layers will be removed you to get the white rice. What these 4 layers are cereal jumps, bran residue, bran, and chaff or husk. When we remove the husk, we will get the brown rice, and whatever the bran and bran residue is there, it is very healthy for the human being. Next slide. There are brown rice before 40 to 50 years back. There are traditional methods used for the brown rice production. What is that? Hand pounding method is the most rigorous and laborious work, but it is done at that time. It's in this case the only layer in the hand pounding stock of rice is done. It is beaten by the women, and only a layer, that is husk, is removed in this case, and it's a physical method. But after the era of milling machines, or after the innovation of milling machines, the raw rice is fed into the rollers, which are rotating in opposite directions. In these rollers also layers are removed, but they are polished. They are not just like in the hand powdering method. It is polishing process is done in this milling process, and whatever brown rice, whatever rice we get from the first and second stage of the rollers, it is called as a brown rice. We just know where that is. They remove a small amount of bran and all these things, and they called it as a brown rice. But polishing is done, and whatever bran is there, which is healthy, it is removed in a small amount. It's a hot process. Rice become hot in this process. Next one. Limitations of hand pounding rice. As you see that this is done by the women. It's a laborious, it's a physical work, it's a tedious job for them. In this area, in the technology era, it is just impossible for the women to do this physical work. Production by this hand pounding method is also less. It is a 5 kg per day per woman. Breakage is also high, as we are doing by the method of hand pounding. Breakage is high. Husk removal also is a tedious job for the woman, and also it is also time consuming. In this process, whatever we get is a broken rice powder, and husk as a byproduct in this process. The production rate by this method is a very less or very small, and if you require to increase, if you want to increase the production of the brown rice, then you have to be adopt, or you have to be go to the more labors for the higher productions. In the milling process also, all the in the process bran is removed by the polishing. Again, storage of the rice should be more for the milling process, because mill's capacities is very high. So small farmers cannot go to the mill processes. Also in the mill process, we get rice, also broken rice, or breakage of the rice is more. Bran we get as a byproduct, and husk. Next slide. Now, by seeing all these limitations and all these limitations, Vigyan Ashram had decided to take some technology development, and they have developed a machine which is a rice dehusking machines. The purpose of the machine is also the same, to increase the value addition to the farmers, to develop so that the new entrepreneurs can be developed at the rural level only. And market demand, there is a market demand for the brown rice, but all the market demand is fulfilled by the milling process only. So authenticate brown rice process should be there, and so that's why this technology is developed. Next. Technology development is a one part, but commercialization of technology is a very long and different process. My company proudly say that my company has done this work. This is my first rice dehusking machine. You can see that it's a commercial product. Total all parts are done. Design, development, and manufacturing of all of this machine is done with the help of CNC machines and all these things. Next. Technical specifications of this machine. This machine is of loading capacity. It is a 20 kg per batch. Its production capacity is low, as 15 to 20 kg per hour, because it's a cold milling process. That's why its capacity is low. And by keeping in mind that a farmer is doing, or a lady is doing at her home, so she does not require higher production, because she wants, again, she has to do the market part also. So that's why the capacity of the machine is less. Power given to this machine is a single phase machine, as considering the rural area electricity scenario, and a 1 HP connection is given to that machine. All the parts of these machines are manufactured just like the car. They will get from my company directly. All parts are CNC parts, so that whatever part, any part damaged at the farmers or ladies home, they will take the product from me. They will buy product part from me, and it will be directly put up in that machine. Just like that car, we have made this machine. Installation of these machines, repairing of these machines is very simple. It's a low light study, and women can do very easily work on these machines. Maintenance of these machines is also very less. Only they have to check the gearbox oil after every 3 months, and replacement of de-husking tool is there, and they have to replace this tool after 5 tons of the raw rice. After 5 tons of the raw rice. In this machine, 100% husk separation is done, so that there is no time consuming for the women also, that for the separate the husk. Next slide. This machine is whatever doing it, we are not doing anything polishing in that machines. You will get that only 2 products there, a brown rice and the husk will be separated from the machines. And I am proudly said that technology, whatever technology is done by the Vigyan Ashram, that technology is commercialized up to such level that its certification is done in the ICR, CIAE, Central Institute of Agriculture Engineering, Regional Center, Coimbatore. It's a central government institute, and we have done certification of this machine from this institute. I'm very proudly say that this machine has got the subsidy in Maharashtra, 50% subsidy for the SC/ST and women. They have given a letter for this machine also, and this machine is eligible for the subsidy in all over India. Next one is this machine. I have registered this machine is a government portal, agrimachinery.com, so that each and every government department can see this machine, and I can approach to them for the purchase of this machine. Next slide. Benefits. Who benefits this machine is as usual, this whatever we are seeing, that self-help group, a woman can do this work. Small rural business should be there, because after COVID, the people are going at their places directly, and doesn't have any what to do. They are in a process. As COVID situation, they are people are not ready to come to the cities like Pune and Mumbai and just like other cities. They are trying to be there at their own places securely. So they want some businesses. So this business is very much useful for them. Is for the woman affiliate, a single woman can also do this business. NGOs can promote this for the woman affiliate. NGOs can promote this machine also. And a farmer can do this business, take this machine and do this parallel business, because it gives a value addition to his raw rice. How it is, we will see in the next slide. Farmer groups, farmer companies can give this machine to the farmers, and they can brand their brown rice as a company. Next slide. Why brown rice? Because first of all, brown rice is a healthy rice, and for the change of the customer towards the healthy food, there is one reason, this brown rice. Again, in the market, low authenticate brown rice is less, because whatever they are giving rice is from the mills, and it is a first and second taste brown rice. And proudly say that this is my first machine in the India which gives the directly brown rice. Second, part is the market demand. As I said, it's a high. People are thinking to go to the healthy food, and for the development of their immunity also, they are thinking over the change of their habits. So next, third is demand from the farmers. Direct farmers is increases. As we are thinking that the era is people are thinking over it. Model. Now we will go to the business model, how it was. For this, we have to consider some points. First of all, where to store this rice for a year. Working of this machine, I have considered as a 10 hours per day as per a company, just like a company works, 10 hours per day. Capacity of machine, I considered as a 15 kg, as it is capacity is different for the different type of rice. The manpower, 2 persons I have considered per day. Daily wages I have considered 500 rupees per person per day, and rate of the rice, raw rice I have considered is 25 rupees per kg. Next, all these values, next slide. All these values are based on the maybe low or maybe high. It depends on the market. Now, if you take one machine, then if and one day scenario, if you see the model, that a person will require a raw rice of 150 kg. Cost of his raw rice is 25 kg. Total raw cost is 3750. Labor charges, electricity bill I have considered in it. Packing and transportation, miscellaneous, all I have added. And total expenses of the per day will be 5100. Total cost of the sale of the brown rice will be, I have considered that if the 100 kg raw rice is there, the 70% of brown rice you will get. Why? Because 30% is husked directly. It is by experience we have considered it. And you will get 100 rupees per kg sale cost. So you will get 7,000 rupees, and profit per day will be 1900. This is an approximation per 25 days per month if the farmer do the business, and 300 days per the scenario will be again different. Next slide. And brown rice business model will be much more benefit to the economically benefit to the people or entrepreneurs. Why? Because you will get directly 70% of rice, brown rice, as compared to the white rice. Because after when your farmer go to the mill and he give the 100 kg rice to the mill, he will get 40% of rice plus 10% of breakage to the rice, white rice. But whatever rice you will get, farmer will get a 70% of brown rice, and again he will get a separate byproduct husk. This husk also he can sold up to the other in the market also. It requires for the kiln also, brick making also, construction also it is required husk. For the poultry farms, husk is required. Then breakage in this machine is less than 5 to 6%. Brown rice value is higher because it's just now, if you consider Indrayani rice in Pune, it is 50 rupees. White rice is a 50 rupees per kg, but brown rice is 100 rupees per kg. This benefit of this machine also is that all the products are separated, though both the products are separated and sold individually, so profit adds their businesses. Next. Value added products. When I give these machines to the farmers, they ask me for the puff rice machines, and I get a new idea that yes, a farmer can do in one day. What he will do, 100 kg rice he will get from the brown 100 kg brown rice he will get from the machine. 50 kg he can sold directly, and 50 kg he can make a puff rice. Why puff rice? Because again, puff rice is a value addition to the brown rice, and as it is a puff rice from the brown rice, again it will give the value addition. If we see the white puff in the market, it will sold out by 120 rupees per kg, as compared to the 50 kg of rice, 50 rupees kg of white rice. So value addition is there. Then they can make the flake rice, poha, we will call it as rice noodles they can make. rice flour they can make and directly and sold. They can make rice crackers also, which people always market has a demand for these ones. Next. And customers. In the customers, just now I am very much fortunate that in these 2.5 years of this after launching of these machines, I have sold out 130 machines, and 130 entrepreneurs are developed by my company. They are from the government, forest department, for NGOs, again these new entrepreneurs, there are women self-help groups are there, farmers are there, also Adivasis are using this. You will see the photo of training and Bandara. This is a Adivasi area. You will see the first photo. In that photo, we will see the this is a self-help group, and in the Goa also we have given the training. I am fortunate that my machine, I can sold my machine in the Maharashtra, Goa, Orissa, Assam, West Bengal, Uttarakhand, and Chhattisgarh. I have got a huge support from all these one, and it's a very happy moment for us that one technology is commercial in such a level that in the other states also I have got the opportunity to sell it. Well, next, by making these machines, I have got 3 awards up till now in the from the June 2019 to 2021. One of the is Marathi Entrepreneurs Network Forum Lady Adarsh Udyojika Award. Second, Maratha Chamber of Commerce is a renowned industrial organization is there, and they have given me the innovative for this innovative product. They have given me the Women Entrepreneurs Award in 2019. Just now I have got this Rotary Club Pune award for this machine also. I want to show a video to you that one of the customer, a lady is there, and she has taken the machine from me, and how she is doing her business, and for that one she had make a small video for the customer of the brown rice. Please, ma'am. No, it's not.
It will be uploaded in a minute.
Yeah.
Play that video.
Yeah.
शांताराम शंकर कुटवड, राहणार बारे खुर्द,
he is a farmer from nearby Pune. He is saying that he is whatever doing is by hand pounding method.
5-6 बाया ते उकळावर करणं,
He require 5 to 6 women for this one.
परंतु हे आणि पुणे शहर आमच्या जवळ असल्यामुळं आम्हाला ती बाजारपेठ होती. माल कमी जायचा.
He has got a market in near, as he is near to the Pune, he has market.
यांच्याकडून तयार केलं त्यांनी, ते मी पाहिलं स्वतः. आणि ते मशीन आणून मी आता ते सुरू केलं. त्यामध्ये मला उत्पन्न म्हणजे जे माल
He has
माझा
taken the machine from
5-10
the
किलो तयार
climber
होतो, तो
systems
आता
and his
40
production
किलो
is
व्हायला लागला. आणि पहिली
increased to 30 to 40 kg per day
एक माणूस
because he is doing for the 3
handle
to 4 hours
आणि
and
त्यामुळे
he
मला
is
हा खूप
require
फायदा
only
झालेला आहे.
one
त्याच्यामुळे मला
person
त्याचा,
for this
पहिल्या
machine also.
ह्याच्यापेक्षा आता नफा वाढलेला आहे.
And his profit is increasing. Ma'am,
Yes.
hello.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
can you make one thing that I want to show a video of a lady who is a new entrepreneur.
Okay,
Can
the
you
video is-
make me a host? It is with me.
Okay, okay.
I
We'll
can
make.
share that one.
We'll make. Just a second. You are the host now, ma'am. Ujjwala ma'am, you are the
Yeah.
host now.
Yeah.
Your screen is visible, ma'am.
Yeah. This lady has taken the machine from me. That child is asking why we are eating the brown rice, not white rice. She is saying that it's a hand pounding machine, and she's giving the difference between the brown rice and white rice. She's showing the process of hand pounding. In this process, they required another again to remove the husk. From the mills, it is polished rice. This is the difference between the rice from the brown rice from the machine and white rice. This is he is a doctor. He is saying what is value addition in the brown rice. And this is this lady, and this is our self-help group they are doing. Yeah, thank you. This is her brand, Shivaratna Mahila Bachat Gat brand. She has done with the help of these machines. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Next presentation is from Mr. Sankat Walse. He has successfully developed the solar-based technologies, namely the solar bubbling system for grey water recycling and solar polyhouse fan pad systems. The technology that he would be presenting would be the grain disinfection machine, and it is his third innovation, and he has successfully tested it, and now the process of pilot testing is with farmers. Ma'am, please make us the host. Ujjwala ma'am, kindly make us the host.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, Sanket is not sharing his presentation. May I request you to
Yes.
share the same presentation again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll be presenting just
Thanks.
in a minute.
Sanket, you are not audible.
No, Sanket, you are not audible.
Ujjwala
Maybe
ma'am,
you can remove mic and try again.
Ujjwala ma'am, the host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have done.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, now it's okay.
You are
Sanket.
still the host, ma'am.
Okay. But I lived it. I have stopped sharing.
Ma'am,
That button is not with me.
ma'am,
Ujwala ma'am,
Yeah, yeah.
you have to click to the Vigyan Prasad name, and there is an option. It's written more. When you click the more, then there will be like options like make host. So you
Okay.
can make Vigyan Prasad
Yeah,
host.
okay. Make host. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is
Thank you.
it correct? Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Just a second, ma'am. We can upload the presentation now.
Okay.
Just a second, we'll start.
Just a small addition before Sanket starts. Sanket is at COVID center now and presenting from there.
Oh, so we have a COVID warrior amongst us, basically.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. The screen is visible, you can go about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can stop here. Yes. So I will start my presentation. So we all know that India is the largest grain producer in the world, but it is not enough. India must become the country who will produce and store the grains more than production. Like we need to store grain for a longer duration. We all must be knowing the traditional ways of grain disinfection. Those generally are direct exposure to sunlight of grains for 3 to 4 days, and then those grains those disinfected grains are directly be poured into some sacks, and then stored for a longer period. Can you please move on next slide? Yeah. Due to this improper handling and storage methods, we face some post-harvest losses. Those losses are like the Food Ministry of India has reported that 10 to 15% of food grain loss occurs every year, which costs around 7,000 crore rupees, and which is a very huge amount, which total waste. The post harvesting losses had some costs like causes like improper drying, higher moisture content, then storage conditions. The storage conditions for the grain, the ideal storage condition for the grain must be 25 degrees Celsius and 70 to 80% of relative humidity, which is generally not maintained by farmers or households. So the grain infection happens. The improper handling is the major issue in the storage. Lower holding time by farmers and lack of decentralized system for storage is also a main cause of our disinfection of grains. Currently, in industries, cellulose are being used to store the grains for longer duration. But farmers and households cannot use the cellulose because they are very large containers. Another best way to use storage do storage is plastic bags. It has the aeration facilities, and it provides the aeration in the grains and the atmosphere, so the grains do not catch moisture, and which reduces the food value of grains. Like if we store the grains by conventional methods, it will lose our price of that grains, then value of grains, and monetary losses may be faced by our nation. So these are the post-harvest losses. We will move on the next slide. So our solution is to disinfect the grains which are being infected or which are being harvested. We have tested the grains like jowar, bajra, wheat. Weevils are the most popular insect responsible for food grain infections. The research study has said that 55 degrees Celsius temperature, the weevils will get killed, and the grains will be disinfected. So we are working on drying based and thermal based disinfection unit. Drying is the best method to increase the shelf life of grains with removal of moisture and killing or control the insect by thermal disinfection, which is our main solution over grain disinfection. This unit is a domestic level operation based system, so it can be used by farmer producer organization or women self-help groups. So it will be more beneficial to these ground level peoples. Can you please move on the next slide? So innovative features in our system are this system is completely a single phase electricity based system which consumes around 2.3 kilowatt electricity power. It can give 40 to 45 kg grains per hour at an easy operation and it has some easy operation procedure and less maintenance cost. So it can be used by any operator, which the operator do not require any special skill to operate this machine. Can you move on next slide? Yeah. So technology features. We have tested this technology over 200 or 400 kg grains, and we have observed some results like as shown in these figures. We can see that the weevils got dead at 55 degrees Celsius temperature. After processing the grains in this unit, we have observed 1.1 to 1.4% of moisture drop, which is very important as far as the storage concern. And we can treat up to 45 kg grains in 1 hour at a rate of 40 paisa per kg. But this 40 paisa per kg is only electricity cost, and it adds around 30 paisa per kg the manpower. So it will collaboratively gives 70 paisa per kg cost to this treatment of grains. We will move on the next slide. Talking about the business model of this system, we have taken the fixed cost of this unit, including its shed requirement. It will be a 1 lakh rupees system. The next one is the recurring cost. Recurring cost includes the processing of 60 ton food grains per year, which will cost us around 1200 rupees per ton. And this 1200 rupees per ton includes manpower cost plus electricity cost, which will be 72,000 rupees per annum. The net income from this system will be 800 rupees per ton, which will be the 48,000 rupees per annum. The expected return on investment for this machine is 2.5 years. So this is how the business model will work for us. The opportunities to develop to implement this system into the society will be the service enterprise to farmers. So the service enterprise to farmers, we can develop an enterprise for farmers to treat their infected, harvested, and ready to store grains at 2 rupees per kg, just like flour mills. So they will get higher storage life for grains. Grain drying and disinfection center for traders. Like if we can directly sell this machine to warehouse holders or traders, so they will treat their grains and store that grains for higher duration of time. So they will get benefit of longer duration of time. So they can sell their grains over more value and get more income. We can develop village level grain processing service along with packing of grains. We can also join this system with flour mills or millet processing unit, so as to add additional value of flour mills, which will be operated by the flour mill holder, and it will be an system like you first go and disinfect your grains and then process it for the consumption. So this is how the business model will work, and the implementation part is over.
Can I speak for a minute? I just want to add two things which Sanket has explained very well.
Okay.
The conventional treatment is always good and it was useful, but every grain doesn't get the same temperature exposure. When in the machine, every grain get exposed to 55 degrees, which can kill the germ, the insect itself and its eggs. That is an additional advantage. An infected grain can be treated very well in a short time without hassles. That's it from my side.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanketji. Thank you. Wonderful. So I have a request. We have the last presenter. If you can be a little quick, because there are a lot of questions that we need to take, and it'll be nice if we can handle those questions also. So it's always, the sword is always on the last speaker. That's very unfair, but that's how the timing, looking at the time constant. So I request Dr. Shinde, to have
the next presenter is Ms. Sonal
right.
Shinde.
Thank you.
Ma'am, please take over. Sonal ma'am, please take over.
Yes, ma'am. I'm presenting agriculture residue composting. So as we know that India generates about 500 million tons of agriculture waste every year, out of which 92 metric ton is burned each year. 20 metric ton per year of wheat straw residue from Maharashtra state only. This is the first problem. Burning of crop increases air pollution. This is the first problem. Next slide, please. Second problem is soil organic carbon. Nearly 70% area of India is deficient in soil organic carbon. जो हम लोग बर्न करते हैं, जो एग्रीकल्चर वेस्ट है वो जलाते हैं, उसका अगर कंपोस्ट बनाते हैं, we can help to improve soil organic carbon. To overcome these two problems, we have developed technology. We have developed microbial consortia using Azolla. Is used as a nitrogen source and non-fodder biomass like carbon source like wheat straw, bajra straw, paddy straw, sugarcane residue. as you know that any composting required a proper CN ratio, proper moisture content, and right microbial consortia. Using this technique, we can compost within 1 month. Using this technique, we had composting within 1 month. From this, we have isolated some consortia and mass multiplied and tested in field. Next slide, please. This technique is tested within 22 farmer under DST support was B project. Next slide, please. This is a protocol for the application of the farmer. Next slide, please. This technique is tested within under DST support was B project. Now technology is ready to testing stage, but ready to transfer, but in testing stage. But we can transfer technology to small small producing company. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. And in fact, I would like to thank all the panelists. So we are moving on to the open discussion session. We are overwhelmed to receive the flood of queries and questions from our audience. But before that, I would like to request the audience that are present on this platform to come up and ask the question directly with the speaker. Tripta ma'am had a question in this comment section. And I think Sutapa ma'am also had a question. So if they would like to ask the question directly, that would be so great. So for anyone from our audience would like to ask the question?
Yes, I am Tripta Tiwari asking that if 80% of the eggs hatch, then the remaining 20% can be consumed or sold in the market for edible purpose?
Yeah, it's a good question, but remaining 20% won't be sold or fit for the consumption because these eggs got rotten. I mean, the half of the embryo get developed, so they are the eggs are of no use. They are the waste, and we have to consider the cost of that eggs into our business, saying that if the hatching rate is 80%, then the cost will be loaded. Remaining 20% eggs cost will be loaded on the newborn chicks. In the same way for the other way.
And these remaining, the rotten eggs can be converted into some manure or some fertilizer?
Yes. Actually, the half-born embryo has been used for the recipes in China and other East Asian countries, but in India, it only goes for the manure purpose or the fish feed kind of thing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sutama ma'am, do we have a question from your side? Okay, so the next question from YouTube is, how does Vigyan Ashram handle the outbreak of bird flu whenever the need arises? Please put some light on the entrepreneurship challenges also that you face during the technological and entrepreneurship programs.
Yeah, it's again a very good question. Vigyan Ashram, basically, we try to promote the small scale technology entrepreneurs, saying that particularly for the poultry farmings, we ask our students or our beneficiary to be a poultry farmer below 5,000 poultry farms, not the very big, huge farms, because these cases are happening again and again, the bird flus and this kind of infection. So the creating awareness, having a holding capacity is the only solution, because when the infection spreads, it spreads very largely. So the having a quarantine system, I mean, these are the very small things like having potassium permanganate solution at your doorstep, restricting entries, having proper sanitation. These are very small things when we consider it as a recurring cost. But many times our enterprise try to neglect this. So we keep on pitching it and we say that have a holding capacity, because market is always going to be volatile for such kind of perishable commodity. So that's the way we try to reach to our beneficiaries.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Next question is rice bran oil healthier than the other refined oils that are available in the market, like the soya bean oil and the sunflower oil? What additional significance does this rice bran oil carry?
Maybe Arun sir, you can take this question.
Basically, yes,
Yeah.
rice bran oil is the one which comes from the bran, and we are here trying to tell you that don't get the bran out. Use bran with your food. The advantage of having rice bran in your food is it has soluble fibers, which leads to heart attack rates typically, and that's a great advantage of using brown rice.
Okay, thank you, sir. There's our one of our audience from Nirmala Chand. He is a freelance educator and he wants to associate with you people to help in the country, making the country proud and all. So, so how can anyone, not only Nirmal, how can anyone connect with you people?
Yeah, it's very easy. You can just write to us or drop a WhatsApp message. We always want volunteers to help us in many ways. I mean, we are into education. We have a school-based program also for technology dissemination. It's called Introduction to Basic Technology, and we work pan-India. So we require your help, ma'am. Just drop us a mail or a WhatsApp message. We will get in touch with you.
Maybe people can get your mail access from Vigyan Ashram's website for the public.
I also have typed it in the chat box.
Okay, we'll try to make it public through our YouTube channel and all the information portal that we have. And does anyone like to add anything to this, Yogesh sir or someone?
I just want to add one thing, because Sonal didn't get enough time to explain her presentation.
Yes.
The beauty of what she has done is she has a consortium which is developed. She has developed a CN ratio, which is exactly fit and quick for the composting. The normal composting of rice husk takes about 12 to 18 months, which she could manage in 1 month.
That's right. And we are building a business model around it. So women SHG groups can pitch in, they can be like promoting this technology, promoting consortium, selling through their network because they have a huge network. So this consortium can go into every household. And what we have seen is not just in Punjab or in Rajasthan or the food grain store of India, even in Maharashtra also, we farmers tend to burn everything which is not useful in a farm. So even a small agriculture residue, farmers have built this habit to burn it out on their burns. So instead of that, if they can just like making a curd, if we can promote this technology as making a compost is also important for every farmer, then this woman power we can use on a large scale. And Sonal herself is a woman science fellow under DST support, and she is trying to reach as many as farmers possible.
Just now a question has popped up, sir. Does the incubation has any side effect on the egg quality that we have?
No, absolutely not. We get these questions many times that whether the egg incubator can be used for organic poultry farming and all. So it's a completely natural process. There is no variation in temperature, humidity, or no any steroid or kind of things are applied or even possible to apply. So it's a completely natural process. There is no harm or no kind of any bad things they're doing with eggs or chicks. It's just a temperature, humidity we are providing inside of machine.
Thank you so much, sir, for this doubt clarification. And with this, we come to the end of the session.
Before Tusha,
yes,
Tusha, I have one small thing. While thanking you, all of you, since Dr. Shashibala ma'am in her keynote mentioned about linkages and WTPs, she mentioned of seeds division which they're doing. And I see some question also from Bhubaneswar talking about WTPs and engaging. I have a suggestion to make here that since Vigyan Ashram is working pan-India and they have their technologies which are readily available, which can be deployed and which can be really adapted and adopted. If we can do, because I just want to mention, if we can do a mapping and of these, your knowledge base and your technologies with the WTPs who are working at different things, not only Maharashtra, even outside Maharashtra, I think that kind of networking and mapping would be of immense help to the grassroots community, and it will impact on the rural women, particularly because WTPs has a mandate of developing, of creating SHGs and provide training and skills to SHGs. So I think we can have an hand-holding with this kind of initiatives, which are again supported both by DST. So Vigyan Prasad has undertaken a study of these WTPs, and we are coming out with a framework. And I'm sure we are going to mention this. We're going to acknowledge the work done by the Tara group of DST, as well as the other, technology developers at the rural level. So this is one submission and one point that I would like to make here, because I can see Dr. Indupuri ma'am and Uma Malik ma'am all are here from DST, and a lot of other participants who are at the grassroots level, and people who need to come forward and take the lead, and your immense work needs to be, highlighted and it needs to be made visible. Otherwise, it's not really reaching out. And Vigyan Prasad helps in this cross bridging and cross collaboration, not only through digital, but also at the grassroots level. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming here, giving your time. And I think if we can do something like this, we will really, carry the work immense, the entire concept of DSTC division, as well as Dr. Sunil Agarwal, who was the pioneer in developing the technology intervention. And at the end of the series, Vigyan Prasad is aiming to bring out a compendium of these rural technologies. We'll come back to you. We'll write to you. You can have, because I'm feeling a little bad for Sonal ma'am, that she was really very brief, and she was very, it was nice on one part, but maybe she has, I don't know if she has felt a little bad about it, that we have not given her sufficient time. It wasn't meant like that, but I wanted to
I felt bad. I don't know Sonal has felt bad or not. I felt bad, though Sonal might not have.
Yeah, Kinkini madam, can I get one clarification?
Yeah.
Just, I think nice, congratulations to Vigyan Ashram for nice technologies. I was basically from Central Institute of Agriculture Engineering, Bhopal. So I am interested in a number of your machines. So about that rice husking machine, it's a really nice machine. I wanted to know the cost of the machine, because it was not shown in the table as a fixed cost. That's why I am asking this.
Ujjwala ma'am is online, I think. Ujjwala ma'am, can we have? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sir. As per the government norms, I have to give the price of this machine in the different state it is different, because I have to give the rate of these machines from the transportation, training, and all these things. So prices are different in different states. But in Maharashtra state, it is 1,34,400, including 12% GST.
No, my only point was that was not taken into consideration for cost calculation. That's why I was asking. But in the cost table, you are not shown it, like in other table, in other technology, it was shown, but your table did not have it.
Yeah. It is 1,34,400 in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any more questions from the platform? Or someone wants to add? Okay, then we'll conclude the session, and I would like to thank, on the behalf of the whole Vigyan Prasar and ISTI portal, I would like to thank all the panelists from Vigyan Ashram for presenting their innovations and technologies to our audience. And we hope that the technologies that you have demonstrated today may reach every nook and corner of our country, and the rural community may really benefit from your hard work. And you people are really working for the development of the rural community in a true sense. Like you do the pilot testing and all. And we feel extremely privileged to have you all for this session. And we would also like to thank our lead speaker, Dr. Shashi Bala Singh ma'am, for enlightening us with her valuable thoughts. Ma'am, you were very true in remarking that rural women can be the change makers. Incidentally, that there's a need for the mainstreaming them for the national technology movement, along with the much needed social and economic empowerment. Through this platform, we encourage the promotion of more women-centric programs at various national, state, and the community level for transforming the rural lives and economy. Today, we conclude the session with the hope that the goals and objectives of this webinar series are moving closer to its fulfillment with every session that we organize. And the recording of this webinar and all the previous webinars can be accessed through the ISTI YouTube channel. For more information about the upcoming webinars and India's efforts in science and technology, kindly visit ISTI portal. Thank you one and all for your kind presence. Stay home, stay safe.